Hello, everybody. I'm doing good. How y'all doing?
You coming from a workout or something?
Yeah, we just got done our condition test.
How was it?
Killed it.
Is it the same conditioning test?
Yeah, we carrying over a lot of similarities. A lot of things we were doing in the past are good. We just kind of carrying it over. We adding our little flavor to some stuff though. So good work nonetheless. Any
You
questions?
have a couple defensive players we were asking Ja'Whaun about earlier today, Judon and Godchaux, and he's saying he hopes they are around for a long time. With Judon specifically, how important is he to what you guys do on the defensive side of the ball?
Uh, all right. It's a question I think we already know the answer to. Obviously, he's a very significant part to what we want to do as a defense. Not gonna get into all the stuff they got going on. I'm gonna leave that up to them. But obviously, he's a huge part. Him and DG, significant parts of this team. We can't, and we love to have him on the field. So, whatever we do to get that done, I hope we get it done soon.
Ja'Whaun, as you sort of assess the defense, I mean, you guys got so many players back,
Mhm.
right? At the same time, you talked for 6 years now, and you guys start over again when you're doing this. How do you balance the idea that you might actually be starting from a higher point because you've been together with these guys,
Mhm.
but you also are starting over something? How do you balance that in terms of what you hope to build?
It's finding that different motivation. Obviously, it's easy to be motivated when you feel like you're doubted or you feel like everybody's looking over you, which in many cases that's still the case. So we still got that chip on our shoulder. But a lot of times you're going to be the expectations are already high and you're in that position, that leading position. So you got to learn how to lead from the front. So now we just trying to make each other better, finding different benchmarks to meet. And it's not hard for us to do that. We always on each other. We always if we can find a way to talk trash about each other, we always do it. Anytime we build each other up, we do that too. But it's a time and a place for everything. But right now we just trying to figure out different ways to get better, whether it's building camaraderie, whether it's finding different play calls that make us play to our strengths, things like that. We never satisfied, and that's the beauty of this group. And I think we saw a lot of that last year. But obviously I don't like to dwell on what the past was, but it was some beautiful things that happened last year that we could build off of.
You talked about a little bit of last year, and the defense was definitely a bright spot in kind of a struggling season. There are a lot of people who are already counting the Patriots out this season without kind of counting on the defense has stayed the same. Kind of, what do you think about that, and kind of what would be your message there?
We don't listen to those people.
Ja'Whaun, among the changes, Ja'Whaun has changed the schedule of practice at a later meeting in the morning, as opposed to maybe meeting like previously. How have you found those kind of adjustments thus far in the spring, and obviously you're just getting started now? From your standpoint, given your experience in the league?
Uh, I love it. I honestly love it just because one, you play usually at 1 o'clock. I mean, there's not really, unless you're playing international, there's not many games that's happening too early. So 1 o'clock is usually a good time. That's also the peak of the day too. So however hot it's going to get, it's usually at 1 o'clock. But also changing it up a little bit. So one day we might be practicing at that time. He might switch it up. We might practice at a different time. So we're not going to be sitting kind of looking poo in the face. We're just going to be like, all right, this is another challenge or another seed of adversity or anything like that. So we just got to roll with the punches. But I think it's always good to switch it up, kind of how we used to practice in the rain, things like that. Like obviously we got a bubble out there, and it would be nice to use that time to time. But it's like, nah, eventually you're going to play in the rain. Let's be ready for that, and let's get out in the elements. And at the end of the day, you got to make it happen regardless.
Ja'Whaun,
You
not
guys,
doing work in terms of meetings or retention,
Say that one more time.
maximizing the time off the field?
Say that one more time.
And what about from the standpoint of off the field meetings and what takes place before you go out on practice?
Again, just adapting. Like it's not like if we was to practice at 1 o'clock, all right, the meeting times is going to change. Like at the end of the day, we're professionals. Like so, we're not reinventing anything like that. We've practiced at 10 o'clock before, and now we're gonna practice at 1 o'clock, and we've done that before in the past too. So we're not reinventing anything. We'll be fine.
Ja'Whaun, you guys have so many returning faces among the players on defense, but the coaching's a little different, obviously. How similar or different do you expect Marcus Covington's defense to be compared to you guys running last several years?
I think the beauty of it is that DC was around with us during that time, so he knows well, when I got into the league, he was the linebacker coach, so I was able to play up under him too. So he knows all of us as players. He knows all of us as minds too. He knows how to play to our strengths and things like that. So that's a beauty in it. And we also got dynamic players too. We're not necessarily a tough defense to coach. We have a lot of leaders on our defense. We got a lot of veterans on our defense too, and we got a lot of ballers on our defense. So it's like, all right, we just need a signal caller. Just give us the blueprint, and we'll get it done from there.
So like on offense, they're installing a whole new offense. You guys feel like you're just kind of still carrying the torch from the last couple of years since it's still the same faces, right?
Obviously, it's the same faces. Some things we're gonna carry over. Some things we're gonna make some tweaks to, and just have our own flavor to it.
Ja'Whaun, speaking of new coaching, have you ever reminded your position coach that 3 years ago he went on record and told us he loved meetings, he wasn't a huge fan?
I'm not sure if he remembers that, but I'll bring it back up to him. But kind of segue into that, I'm excited to have High on the staff. Kind of seeing his mind from a coach's perspective. Obviously, the vision that you have from the sideline is a lot different than what you have on the field. So seeing his vision from the sideline and him being able to spit that back at us from a player's perspective and kind of speak our language and things like that, it's a beautiful thing. And I think he'll be a brilliant coach, and he already is.
On those lines, we see Hightower getting into the drills with you guys, specifically he does like sprints with you at the end. What's it like to have a coach who's just like right next to you in practice?
Ain't nothing like it. It's one thing to have a coach telling you to do something. It's another to have him right beside you doing the right with you. So you can't really, he limits your complaining. So you can't really say much if he right there next to you.
I'm really a big Celtics fan. I just want to go back. When you watched them make that run as a pro athlete, what did you take from their run that maybe applies to team sports or anything that when you were watching them that you might
One, glad you brought that up. Congrats to the Celtics, man. It's a heck of a run. Seeing them guys fight through adversity, fight through all the naysayers and things like that. I feel like every week it was something different that people was trying to come up with, just starting different things, but they kept their head down and focused on the main task. They didn't let none of the outside noise kind of affect what they was doing. The leadership with Al Horford, JT, JB, all those guys, and the role players that they had too, they dominated in their role, and that's something I feel like every team, not just us, can take from and kind of implement into our game, whether that's watching how they do pregame, how they keeping their head down and just working. I thought it was all just beautiful, and watching, it's always good to see teams that fight like that reap the benefits of that. So congrats to them and Coach Mazzulla too.
Flip side to that is how will their lives change personally, professionally, as a team now that they've won a championship?
Expectations high, but you wouldn't want it any other way though. You should thrive when the expectations are high. And I feel like a lot of times, like I kind of said earlier, people kind of get addicted to being doubted the whole time. But when you're no longer doubted and now you're expected to do a certain thing, or you have that chip is no longer there, you got to find that new motivation to just keep going and find different things that you can work on. And I think that's when you figure out what kind of player you really are. When you don't really have to, you got to listen to nobody talking over you. They're looking at you like, hey, you're a beast. Now you got to try to be an A player at all times, and that's the challenge. That's the new challenge. So I challenge every player that's out there just trying to find that new motivation to just seek it out. Just seek it out. Appreciate you guys.